Hello everyone, welcome back to Wild Wild West's Gelvin Valley for Farming Simulator 15. As you can see, we are at the top of the world at the moment up here where you can hear the wind blow, and we are windrowing our grass that we just cut up here. Going to probably turn it into silage bales to earn a little extra money while we're kind of in between harvests. So just gonna take this is just so steep in here. I don't think we would ever be caught dead doing this in real life, but what can I say? In a game like this, we have no fear. You know, I'm noticing a lot of bits and pieces that we apparently missed the last time we were in here, so that's kind of interesting. And I'm almost thinking, yeah, there's some areas we aren't cutting that I know we cut last time, but this time we're leaving alone, like below the tree there. But I kind of think, yeah, this is going to be problematic. I may want to get my other tractor involved. Kind of think the last time we didn't quite cut across the slope. This is just crazy steep. So, you know, if there's somebody here from Ireland or the region that Wes says this was modeled on, and I can't articulate, well, maybe we could just look. Hold on. Here it is, by the Dungiven Sparran Mountain area, Northern Ireland, Donegal Town area, Patna, Dalmellington area, East Ayrshire, Scotland. Is this how it looks in real life? I'm going to assume it is, because Wes would know. He's the one that made it, and he lived there, I think, for a part of his life, so he would know. And maybe not so much is this what it looks like, but would people really cut hay on a slope that looks suicidal? So, come on. Yeah, this thing is powering out. So, I think I am going to switch tractors as soon as I get this Chrome 8 at the top of the hill. Yeah, just struggling, which of course it would be in real life as well. Probably would have long ago fallen down the hill, but we are trying to make it work. And you know, I think Wes said in the documentation there was grass up here you could cut, but probably he intended that you wouldn't be completely insane about how you cut it, so we've maybe gone above and beyond the pale, but anywho, what can I say? We're almost done here with our first go around, so I'll kind of come off here. I'm going to turn that off, and we are going to, is this flat enough for me to, oh yeah, I can drop it here. I'm going to move you over here, and I'm going to get a few more horsepower. I don't know that this tractor over here has much more horsepower, but it has some. Probably should have hired a tractor, but what can I say? It costs money, and well, you see how much money I have. Not much. So, let me get this. I could, I suppose, just gobble up all these windrows. Oh, for goodness sakes. You put in... Oh, I'm trying to... What would be the best way to take the hill? no matter which direction you take it, you're going to be fighting the hill at some angle or other. So I don't know. And I don't know if I'm limited. I can't remember if I have multi-angle terrain installed. I might. Let me see here. Oh yes, I do. Alright, maybe that will work. But let me get this here. Get rid of the line. Get it back here. And I better narrow that. You know, I don't remember just how wide this is. 8.2, and already on here it says 8.5, so I know I want to take it down. Let's see, work with 8.2. I think I want to take it in as much as I can. Outer range was one thing, but when you're on these hills, I think that there's some inefficiencies in how it's going to grab. So, alright. Oh, I don't know if everybody heard our pup out there. Got a window open. I don't know if any sounds are coming through. Oh, there's a jogger came through. Oh, very, very good. Protecting the house. Yeah, see, now we're going downhill. Oh, well. We're gonna make this work. So... Oh! Yobbers! I have some experience of agriculture on hills. You know, I've worked on lone oak farms, and they had some hills they farmed on. I don't think it was anything like this, that's for sure. I always enjoyed them. They added a little extra challenge, a little bit of danger too. Always had to make sure you were alert. Anywho, we'll try to get it. Yeah, see, I don't really. I maybe should have taken a second round. Although that ain't too bad to get around. Get over here. Who knows? Maybe somebody in Northern Ireland would just eat this field for breakfast and wonder why this American has issues or is such a pansy. Boy, it just picks up speed, kind of going downhill, and I'm trying to slam the brakes on, and yeah, it not always easy, so the angle keeps changing in here, so get turned around. Some of this is just, yeah, there it swings kind of like a pendulum. So this is going to be real fun bringing the bather in here. You know, I almost wonder if I should have ran parallel with or perpendicular to the slope instead of using using the GPS. That probably would have been a better idea in retrospect. Oh well, we do the best we can here. So last time I ventured into talking about my profession, even though I realize most people consider accounting pretty boring, pretty dull stuff. So I won't go into that again here now, although there is something tangentially related to my profession, and not just mine alone, but lots of people's. And I think we all know it. I mean, it's practically a buzzword. It's something, you know, used by a lot, including myself and others in my profession and in many professions, and it's artificial intelligence. And it has really changed things. It has the promise of changing many more things. And, you know, you never know what to believe or just what is coming. You know, I'm not a computer programmer. or how all this works, but when you read the literature, watch YouTube videos on it, and listen to people talk about it who may or may not know, what they're speaking of, you hear predictions all the way from dire. This is gonna replace people's jobs and replace people, supplant them, all the way to, this is a nothing burger, it's only a tool, it's gonna break at some point. It's just like so many other things. AI is a bubble, and it's just a matter of time, and the bubble is gonna be burst. Oh, that's a treacherous hill. This is just crazy. I shouldn't be doing this. Let me see here. Lift. Come on. Gee, man. Wow, that is steep. Oh, of course it tries to go right over that knob there on the hill. Yeah, it's hard to tell how steep it is when I kind of look at it from an angle kind of on high, if you will, using the third person way that I play. Hopefully this pass won't be as bad. So AI, I would be really curious in the comments if people shared how AI has impacted them, their families, their professions, what they see coming. And I'm no prophet. I haven't the foggiest idea what all it's going to mean. What I do know is it has some pretty cool features. Come on, get up there. Come on. Yeah, this is terrible. Not AI, but yeah, it's and then there's another kind of article you'll see out there where you have people probably that have seen one too many science fiction movie or whatever, who talk about, well, when is AI going to become a sentient being? When will AI get its own rights? And personally, I just think that's a bunch of poppycock. But you do have that, those kinds of impressions out there too, or some who have warned, that we're already there, that AI has feelings or whatever, and AI has been used. We probably could have several episodes on this. It's really spooky in some ways how it's being used and how people are choosing to use them. There's always a use for a tool, and there's always a misuse where people can get themselves, into trouble. And maybe any one of us have made mistakes in that regard. Picking your tool. It's kind of like alcohol. It's something that could be consumed responsibly. You wouldn't have to be in drunkenness, and yet we all know there's a lot of people who abuse alcohol and do things like drinking and driving and kill people. So this maybe is no different from that. When I read other articles of AI being used in place of relationships, that is really disturbing. Where there's a certain mindset of either men or women who want an AI girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and unlike a human being, AI is always on, is going to be always consistent, is always going to treat you perfectly, and so forth and so on. And so some people will choose to live in a la-la land with their virtual relationship, and it isn't real. It's just a computer. It's fake. And But there are people, kind of getting sucked in by that. There are people taking relationship advice from AI that may or may not be good. And I know we've probably all, seen news stories where people who are struggling turn to it for advice or whatever, and apparently some of the AIs recommended, well, you need to go commit suicide. I mean, just terrible. And you ask yourself and wonder, well, why would a person in their right mind ask a machine about these deep questions of life, or when they really need help, why would they turn to a machine? What is wrong with the machine, that it would have such poor counsel and tell someone to off themselves? I mean, that's just terrible. Oops, I didn't realize that thing raised. So there's just a myriad of things we're seeing now in AI, some good, some bad, and I guess other bad ones, since we seem to be kind of on that kick for the moment. My kids in school tell me that there are so many kids anymore, just using AI to cheat, or maybe they somehow slide into it. AI is probably here to stay. It's a tool. It probably is one of those things that could be used responsibly in education. But, to a kid, is their mind fully formed enough yet that they know the appropriate time for the tool versus when they should do it on their own? I just sometimes have a fear that this AI is going to diminish learning and create a whole bunch of us as dummies, because it'll do, our thinking for us. And, if we start to overly rely on it, if we forget how to critically think ourselves, we're handing ourselves over to a machine. There was when I was a kid, there was a movie. This was back in, I think it was a movie made in the 80s. I don't remember exactly, where it was a computer, and some kid or scientist or whatever developed it, and the computer became a sentient being and could think on its own, kind of a lot like AI is, and somehow, or maybe the government developed it, I don't know. The whole theme of the movie was, and this back in the 80s, it was kind of during the Cold War between the US and Russia, and I think Russia was the antagonist in this. And anyway, the US government had this computer, and they turned over their national defense system to the computer. And kind of, I think towards the end, they realized the computer had locked everybody out, and it was about to make what seemed like some colossal bad decisions and throwing nuclear weapons around at Russia. And so they had it plotted on the screen, and you could see missiles flying, and as it turns out, all the computer was doing was a simulation. And fortunately, save the world, the computer came to the correct conclusion when it comes to nuclear bombs, that there was no way to win, so the best thing to do was not even to play the game. So it ultimately concluded, that it shouldn't try to take out the Soviet Union or some other enemy with nuclear bombs. Well, a lot has changed, since that time, but it still would be a similar premise, I guess, a similar question. It's just, can a machine ever be trusted with life and death decisions such as that? Well, I just think we get into a lot of trouble if we lose the ability to think critically, in terms of just everything from relationships, decisions we make. The tools can help us, but they shouldn't replace, human dignity and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of negative, that can happen, in my opinion, using AI. And listening to my kids and hearing how some of the young people, well, I didn't have enough time, so they used AI to write their paper. Well, I remember what that was like. I mean, I went to school too, and in the days I went through it, for many of those years, we didn't have a computer to type on. It was longhand. You wrote it by hand. You had to think through. You might have to go through some revisions. There was research involved. You had to pick up books, go the Dewey Decimal System in the library. Now with the internet, everything's just at your fingertips, and you almost lose the appreciation for what it takes to learn something, what it takes to build something, when you aren't forced to build something from scratch yourself. I kind of like to think of it, as with the example of a calculator. Uh, if you're a kid learning arithmetic, first, second, third grade, or whatever, learning the basics, I think most people would agree that is not the time to hand the kid a calculator. If you truly want the child to learn arithmetic, you have to let them struggle through that. And if you give them a calculator, well, they will just rely on the calculator and they will never learn the fundamentals. Or it will take them much longer too. And I wonder if some of it is the same with AI. And you get to, this is where I see a lot of positive applications. It could be such a tremendous teaching tool because it has limitless patience. So, if you're trying to learn a concept, it can walk you through it again and again, tell you different ways of looking at it until you get and thoroughly understand material. I mean, it's great, or can be great, at that kind of thing. But to just use it to do your work for you it's a huge temptation to a kid. I mean, I was a kid once, so what did we want to do? We wanted to get out of school and go play, go do our own thing. I mean, sitting there in a classroom, that wasn't the most interesting thing to us or whatever. So if all a young person does is shortcut, their homework, their schoolwork, they're ultimately shortcutting their learning process and can end up, sadly, becoming a dope. Sorry to say it, but that seems to be a result, with stunted learning at the very least. So, professionally now, in our firm, our accounting firm, this is kind of where I said earlier there was a connection with, okay, hold on. I should use, let me go to this. I'm going to see if I can do a follow me circuit, because I am going to go to another place to cut some grass, and I need both. Let's see. So right control F. There we go. Alright. Yep, it's following. Very good, very good. So, as I mentioned previously, I am a certified public accountant. I work in accounting all day, and it's a knowledge business. So my occupation is one of those, where they said, this is gonna, you're gonna eliminate jobs. There's gonna be people losing their jobs, and I don't particularly see it that way. What I see is we can become potentially more efficient, and maybe there are. Here's another reality that we have in the Western world. Birth rates are falling. There are fewer people, so if there are going to be fewer people in the future, we need to become more and more efficient. So I think a tool like this potentially will help us do just that, where we hopefully can accomplish more, each one of us. How am I doing? Alright, it's coming right along. So that's kind of what I'm seeing of it. There's some potential or promise that, well, you could have people send their information in, you scan it, and it automatically goes into the tax software. Well, okay, maybe you do some of that, maybe you don't. It still is going to take people to overlook it. You just don't blindly trust a machine. And, I've been using AI for over a year now at least, and it routinely gives bad advice, the wrong information, old information. I'm told it even learns from each person who does a query. So, I guess what that means is presumably if enough people told AI that the sky is underneath their feet, that it would start to repeat this, which is kind of just ridiculous. And so I have found it isn't entirely reliable when it comes to advice. It can help. It's kind of like Wikipedia. Probably everybody's heard of Wikipedia. And Wikipedia is pretty good for general information, but it's put together by volunteers. It's put together by people who have biases. Wait, folks. Am I seeing things? I thought I cut all these trees, and here they're all grown up. Whoa. Well, that's kind of interesting. I haven't see, there are some stumps in there. How in the dickens? Huh. That is really, really curious. Yeah, see, here's more stumps. Huh. Well, interesting. Now, where was I? There's a glitch there on Farming Sim. Anybody care to comment on that? I didn't know. I cut every single tree down, and they're now all grown up again. Huh. Well, maybe I don't need to go in and replant. The forest just reconstituted itself. Huh. Anyway, back to AI. So I'm careful anymore what I was talking about Wikipedia. Wikipedia, I think, is kind of looked a little at, it's okay maybe for some general knowledge, it's a starting point, but you really have to be careful of the bias of the people who wrote the materials there, put it in there, and check your sources because, it's been known to be inaccurate. Well, I'm wondering if AI is kind of something similar, where you just have to... Alright, is he coming? Aha, there he is. She, whoever. I want to make sure I don't just outrun him entirely. Right, take him a little bit to get up the hill. Yep, there they're coming over the bridge, over the river and through the woods. There, I can track them on the map. So just like we are careful to not rely on Wikipedia and have to go to sources, I'm thinking we also need the same care in relying on it for just any question you would ask it. Because you just never know if it's going to be accurate, and you always need to vet it. So, I don't know, I've kind of broached the topic here of AI. It seems like I probably could make another episode out of it. Don't know if I will. And as we all heard, bell went off as we head up to our next field. What do you all think? And how do you use AI? How has it impacted your career? Where do you think it's going? I'm curious what comments any of you might have as to how you read the tea leaves to where all this is going. And come on, baby, is it still coming? Oh yeah, must be having a terrible time in there. Anyway, I think I'll leave you here. I'm still kind of en route to the next place, which is kind of also on top of the world, way up high. Wes didn't want to make it easy for us to get some free grass, so he put them at a distance, and we got to climb a lot of altitude to get up there. So that's where we're headed. And like I say, thank you for stopping by, for giving this a listen. Hope you all are doing wonderful. Take care until the next time.